Hi, I'm Pete, and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. We got a bunch of things in this video, some work with the animals, back to digging, and cooking. We move the laying hens to a fresh spot once a week. It's gonna be a hot day today, I think.
Yeah, it is summer.
Work continues on the winter pasture subdrainage. From the outlet pipe, the main comes up here and it tees off. I've got those two run. I've dug the trench for this one to about 110 feet or so. This main trench here comes up and it will wind up going to about the midpoint of the barn where it'll tee and go off to take the rainfall coming off the roof from the barn. And there will be another tee here. So there will be 4 laterals total, spaced at about 20 feet apart across this field. Subdrainage lateral spacing depends on 2 things: soil type and how permeable that soil is. My soil is not terribly permeable. And pipe depth. So the deeper the pipe, the farther apart the trenches can go, because if you remember from the one video where I did lots of explaining, the water table between trenches arches like this. And so the further apart and the deeper they are, the more likely that arc isn't gonna be at the surface where you have surface water. So 20 feet is a conservative spacing in this soil, I think. And the pipe's gonna run 24 to 36 inches deep for the most part. What's going on here?
This is the site supervisor.
Oh, Ezra, yeah. This trench is ready to put stone, pipe, and fabric in. Step 1 is to roughly place 2 inches of stone in the bottom of the trench. There's my laser level set up. I just walked down the trench and checked the grade for slope. 2 inches of base stone all in and graded. I'm good and careful when I dig the trench. This one slopes at about 1/8 inch per foot. Down here at the low end, put in the tee off the main line. And then we want to hold the pipe in the center of the trench so it's got stone filtration on both sides. Next we roll out the fabric. And here's what we wind up with. Bottom side T, trench ready for backfill, and the working end of the trench where we just ended. I've got about 70 feet more to go this way, but we wanted to break the backfill up because it's hard work. Easy way. Trench is backfilled. Let's go take a look at the outlet pipes. All the way down here. They're not running right now. After I fixed my elevations and hooked everything up, water gushed down the pipes, and these ran for about a day and a half, and I think it's taken care of all the water that was in the pasture, at least where I've put in drainage tile so far. And it hasn't rained in 5 days, so the ground's pretty dry. I expect I'll get into more water as I get closer to the 2 barns adjacent to the pasture, because that's the lowest ground in the pasture, and I think it holds more water. Are we old enough yet to take a siesta every afternoon?
I vote yes.
I could use a nap. Geez, I was looking at the news, and you know the gas station down at the corner there?
Yes.
All their toilets were stolen. Isn't that weird? Yeah, the cops came to investigate, but they had nothing to go on. It's probably not a great idea to tell Hillary a joke when we're getting ready to put up a fence. And she has something big and heavy in her hand. I want to turn the cattle into this field that I clipped 2 weeks ago for a couple days, but before we do that, we gotta put the temporary fence back up. Cows, don't go down the field. Cows. Hey, Patty. I'm going to open up a new field for you. That caught their interest. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. All right, guys. Go on, Patty. Come on, little ones. So you gotta talk about it a little bit. Hey, Coco. The herd's getting smaller these days. 4 have gone to the butcher in the last couple months. Of course, we got calves, but they're a lot smaller than what went to the butcher. I think we have 6 more to go this year, plus maybe a cull cow. Something's missing in my cozy little excavator cab. There we go. That's much better. Here's how I make sure that the bottom of my trench has slope. These 2 posts are 10 feet apart, and I hold the same elevation for 10 feet. And when I get to the bottom of the trench here, then I move that post over to the next 10 feet. And every 10 feet I move the sensor for my laser level down. Here I'm going 2 inches every 10 feet, or roughly a 1/4 inch per foot, because I got plenty of depth to slope more steeply. The rotating laser level gives me a level plane. When it hits my sensor, it beeps. So what I wind up with really, Orden, is a step trench. You know, it steps every 10 feet, and then when I put the stone in, I can slope it evenly. That's it for tonight. I got a little ways to go here. I don't want to get too close to that walnut tree. And then the other finger that comes up the other side here is going to catch the runoff from the old pole barn. But I'm whipped. It's time to make dinner. For this one, I want to keep the coals to one side. In the last video, I talked up these top brown steaks. And so I'm going to show you how I cook them if they come out so good. These are 1-inch thick steaks. I put them on the other side from where the coals are. It's indirect heat. We're going to let them nap in there. Top round is a very lean steak. It's a single muscle, so it doesn't have as much marbling, and the trick with leanness is to keep it tender and juicy when you cook it. So to that end, I want to cook it as little as possible, and I put it out on the counter an hour ago to let it come up to room temperature so I don't have to raise the temperature so much. We like our steaks medium rare, so I'm going to keep this on indirect heat till it hits about 110, and then I'm going to bring it over to on top of the coals and reverse sear it to bring it up to about 130 degrees or so, and as it rests after I pull it off the grill, it'll bring it up to the 135 for medium rare. I seasoned it when I took it out of the fridge with a little bit of McCormick Montreal steak seasoning. Let's see how they're doing. When you have them on indirect heat, you don't need to flip them or anything. You can just leave them on one side. That's where you want to be. So now I'm going to move them over the coals. I'm going to sear them for about 2 minutes or a minute and a half on each side. Flip them over. Now they're seared on both sides. Do a final check of temperature. Yep. See how these look now? Let's compare them to what they look like in 10 minutes after they rest. After a 10-minute rest, see how the juices have come out? They're on the steak, they're under the steak. If you can keep them tender and juicy, the beef flavor in these is really good. And that's it for my video today. The work in the winter pasture is hard work, but it sure will be rewarding when the cows are on it this winter. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.